If you've got competent attorneys, you overcome TCPA. If you challenge it under TCPA, you're going to lose. You're going to just throw away. You're going to burn like 10 grand. You're going to just light it on fire and put it in a bowl.
Vic is not a public figure as the legal system would define it. While he's well known in this narrow area, he's not well known in the country at large. Well, if he is a public figure, can we still win? And the answer is yes, absolutely.
First of all, I think even the dumbest law firm in Texas could win this case. At this point, the litigation for us is an exercise in authentication. We've got the evidence. Our friends at Kiwi Farms and the other people have absolutely armed us to the teeth with discovery.
I know I've let you down.
Guys, this is a consistent exercise in looking at people who are too stupid or ignorant to realize how effed they are. It's horrifying. It's been horrifying. Like, it's funny, but it's horrifying to watch these people walk into this. It's like a blind guy walking towards a cliff and then falling off the cliff and you having to just watch. And what do you do?
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to shake the hand of the guy who made that because I just laughed out loud when I played that. It was just that funny. I wish I did it myself, honestly. It's like everything that I've pretty much covered rolled into a nice little package bow. All right. So I'm going to make this a quick one. I meant to do a stream sooner than this, but things happen. And also there's just been so many updates that it's really hard to keep track of all the stupidity going on. You got people threatening to flag my channel. You got people threatening to flag people's Discords. You got lots of crazy stuff going on. You got Nick spurging out. And of course, the meat of this, let's just get into it. They're going to appeal, apparently. That's the word from Nick. He did a special video on this subject. Going to play that soon. Actually, first, there's a couple things I want to address from the last stream. There was a mistake I made in the last stream in saying that Nick said something about a bill that he was going over. I interpreted that as a financial bill by mistake. That was actually a bill on the governor's desk he was referring to. You can clearly see it in the context. I fucked up there. That simple. However, that doesn't change everything else that I said about Nick in those chat logs, which are also real, by the way, because I've noticed that some people have been a little salty about that. They've been claiming fake news, guys. You can just ask Keck, Nick's community manager, and he won't lie about that because he hasn't lied about anything before, and he'll verify them himself. You can ask Nick. Nick won't lie about that either. Or you can pay the $20 and see the chat logs yourself. Yeah. So, with that out of the way, let's look into the lawsuit appeals. Nick's appeal for an appeal. Let me just pull that up real quick. I just need to get the right thing. Give me one moment. I thought I had it up. Okay, let me see real quick here. Don't worry, I'll get it up in just a second. Hold your horses. Okay. There we go. Just click that. And we'll watch this together. There we go. Expand this. That. Play this. Skip the intro.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And this video is an update on the status of the case filed by Vic Mignogna against 4 defendants: Funimation, Monica Rial, Ron Toye, and Jamie Markey. Back in February of 2019, Vic was effectively removed from the anime industry largely due to the allegations and accusations of these 4 defendants. In April of 2019, Vic Mignogna filed suit, and a major media, I guess new media, coverage event of the lawsuit really began to unfold in front of the anime community's eyes. A large part of that occurring here on this very channel. People were able to read filings in real time. They were able to see things that they may have never seen before, such as deposition videos. All of that is still available on this channel, but it's also available in several other sources as well. And I encourage people who are unfamiliar with the lawsuit to look to those sources, to look to my videos and channel, and to familiarize yourself with the facts from as many different perspectives as you can, so that you can make an objective decision about what's going on here.
I'm going to interpret that as Nick giving an official endorsement to my channel, as it has been covering the Vic Mignogna case, and it has been providing an alternative, as in truthful perspective. That's a... All right, so maybe it's not that much of a... So maybe that's a bit of a stretch. But what's not a stretch here is that Nick's not doing his usual shtick of just going wild on stream and screaming and yelling and ranting here. What he's doing here is he's doing his very acted, very rehearsed statements, a very professionalistic tone, if you will. He's not doing it off the cuff like usually it does. He's dropping authenticity to kind of like make this milquetoast Monday Matt style. Hey guys, I want everyone to support this crowdfunding campaign, because he needs new people to support it, because he's in a rough spot. You know what's happened here. Nick's the appeal process is not a good starting point to try and win people over. Before, you could do it because, you know, oh my gosh, this big scandal happened. We can make a martyr out of this guy, and this guy may have a chance in court. But now it's been proven that the case is just a slap suit. In fact, Nick himself even referred to the TCPA coming down on him as an anti-slap law. That should tell you exactly what Nick really truly believes of this case, and the authenticity of that. The thing is, he wants people to go ahead. He needs people to be on his side. He needs to attract new audiences members to replenish the ones that have dropped off, because a lot of people have quite reasonably gone either, well, this isn't working out, I'm out of here. And if he doesn't get new people to replace those old people, he's going to have diminishing returns. So he's got to put on this act. He's got to put on this as boring as possible look to his whole persona.
For those of you that have been following, you know that on September 6th of 2019, a TCPA hearing was conducted in this lawsuit. A TCPA hearing is a pre-trial hearing which allows defendants to suggest that a lawsuit is brought without merit and solely for the purpose of stifling their free speech. It's sometimes referred to as...
Yeah, guys say explaining the court trial in that way, in that accurate kind of fashion, not a good move. Not a good move. In fact, you might saw before the little nervous twitch he had here. Let's go back to that. Just a little thing I picked up here. I think he's as confident as he's letting on here. I think a lot of things are bothering him these days. Let's go back.
Familiar with the lawsuit, to look to those sources, to look to my videos and channel, and to familiarize yourself with the facts from as many different perspectives as you can, so that you can make an objective decision about. On September 6th of 2019, a TCPA hearing was conducted in this lawsuit. A TCPA hearing is a pre-trial hearing which allows...
Hey, see that? Like, he just has to scratch his face real quick.
Defendants to suggest that a lawsuit is brought without merit and solely for the purpose of stifling their free speech.
I think underneath all this acting and rehearsal, he's sweating bullets.
Anti-slap motion. Since we're in Texas, it is the Texas Citizens Participation Act. At the hearing, 12 of the 17 counts were dismissed by the Honorable Judge Chupp, who is the district court judge in Tarrant County, Texas, where the lawsuit is filed. Judge Chupp had a subsequent 30 days to go ahead and file the remainder of his opinion on the outstanding charges. In the meanwhile, prior to filing his opinion, he did order all of the parties to mediation, apparently in response to death threats that were sent to the courthouse by a anonymous Twitter person, and also an email or two that was sent to the courthouse as well by a, I'm told, unrelated internet person. I don't know the identities of any of these people other than by their anonymous screen names.
Yeah, you see what I mean? He can't help but touch his face. Like, seriously, he knows that this is bullshit. He knows that there's no chance that this is going to work. He knows he's suckering people. But he does it anyway because, honestly, it might be in Nick's interest just to throw Ty under the bus. We know that Nick has no morals, so why does he just do that? I don't know. It's funnier this way, so let it be what it is.
That being said, the judge ordered all of the parties to go to mediation prior to him issuing his final ruling. As covered on this channel, there was no result from the mediation. All of the parties walked away from that mediation with no deal worked out, and the judge was left to issue his ruling, which he did the following, I believe, 2 days later. This was on Friday, October 5th. On Friday, October 5th, Judge Chupp issued the ruling dismissing the remaining
It was October 4th, you idiot.
causes of action against from Vic Mignogna against the 4 defendants. Because this is such a charged event with so many people invested in the outcome of this case for various reasons. Briefly, some of those reasons include support or animosity towards Vic Mignogna himself as an individual, support or animosity towards Vic Mignogna because of his status as a voice actor and the characters that people have either liked or disliked, or because of the work that he has performed. Some people may have been disapproving of his vocal talents, and other people may really like his vocal talents. Further, support or unsupport of the individual defendants or the company Funimation itself. And finally...
Also, another thing I've noticed, why is his face always red? I just don't get it. Is he, like, permanently getting a tan? I don't get it. Like, I don't know, Nick. There's something wrong with your face.
There's another group of people on both sides of this issue who are more invested in the idea of the hashtag #MeToo or cancel culture movement. And you can actually find evidence and articles and media commentary on both sides of this, which really ignores a lot of the facts involved in the case and more focuses on the idea of Me Too, on the idea of cancel culture, on the idea of...
You see this mask he's putting on? Is this the Nick Rekieta that we're really are familiar with? The guy that just has a scurrilous tongue who just goes after people nonstop, calls them all kinds of sorts of awful names? This is a fake act meant to attract new audience members who need to be waded into the waters that might be put off by his foul tongue and demeanor. Like, this is pathetic, really. He should just be himself, just say, hey, honestly, this pandering bullshit is just dumb. What he should do is just be himself and just go out there and say, yeah, I'm the edgelord lawyer, that's what I do, that's my shtick, and just sputter out everything. Like, that would be I could respect that more than this act that he's clearly putting on that clearly sounds rehearsed, and it doesn't sound at all genuine. Not one iota.
Misogyny or feminism. There are lots of people coming at this with various perspectives. But when we focus on the actual facts of the case, what we have is a man with a 20-year career, and we have a group of people who have come out with allegations that date back 7 to 10 years, sometimes longer. The allegation...
Now, this is interesting. Like, this is one thing that gets me, because part of what I Stand With Vic says is, oh, all these allegations just came out recently, so therefore they're false. And now Nick's doing the opposite spin. Nick's actually being honest and saying that the allegations have been around for a really long time, have persisted at multiple events in multiple situations. And now he's using that as reason to say, hey, that's reason they're false. You see how with these people, it's a heads I win, tails you lose situation? Like, there's no honesty with these people and their fences of Vic. Like, they're not consistent with what they say. They'll go ahead and they'll flip around. They'll take the facts as they understand them, and they'll flip them around just to suit their own narrative. It's what they do constantly. In fact, he does this again here.
Seem to be unsupported by anything other than their word.
Okay, that's a lie. Vic Mignogna has confirmed multiple allegations, not all of them, but many of them. Now, we can quibble over how much was exaggerated by Kick Vic, how much was underplayed by Vic Mignogna, etc. And we can get into the how the morality of like pillory a guy, kicking when he's down, etc. That's fine. But in the context of the legal matter that Nick is referring to, asking his audience to make an appeal, to fund the appeal process, how do you win a defamation case when the plaintiff is confirming allegations that are in the lawsuit? There are two specific allegations that I can mention that Vic Mignogna has confirmed. The Jelly Bean incident, which that might be a silly reason to fire someone, admittedly, but if it's true, you can't sue defamation over it. And the hair pulling incident when Vic Mignogna pulled Jamie Marchi's hair. Those two things have been confirmed by Vic, and they're both in the lawsuit. Does this guy, honestly, Nick is taking advantage of people who aren't going to take the time to actually read the documents and are just going to trust Nick's word because they're used to trust. You could call them stupid, go ahead, but Nick, I wouldn't call them stupid. I would say that they're maybe a little naive, but they're not stupid. They think that this guy's being honest, coming forward to them, and he's put on this show, and it just persuades some people that are not exactly in tuned with how these e-celebs and these cliques work. These politicians, how they work. And because of that, they get duped into falling for this kind of crap. There's no way this lawsuit's going to make it to appeal. I just the thing I said alone is enough to damn it. So, why is Nick this is just blatant dishonesty through and through. Let's continue watching it.
Their allegations are undermined by the fact that these allegations remain silent for so long, and not only did the allegations remain silent, but the people making the allegations not only worked closely with Mr. Mignogna, but also were very, very openly friendly and publicly and privately friendly with Mr. Mignogna during the entire time.
Okay, so what Nick is doing here is just making an appeal to character and just bring up circumstantial evidence to show that, all the claims are totally bogus, totally lies. I mean, there's other honestly, again, this is just more spin doctoring and more bullshit from his point. It's not, it has to have occurred to him, and again, it's 99%, I would say a good 75% of the allegations, various facts and details of it, have been confirmed by Vic in the greater scheme of things. So this argument is just dumb. The only things that Vic hasn't confirmed are things that would end him up in jail. So what does that tell you? In fact, some of the stuff that he has confirmed would potentially end him up in jail, for that matter. So why should we go ahead and, when all these other people disbelieve them, but Vic, who's confessing to all these things, yeah, the 25% that hasn't been confirmed. Oh, well, that's obviously all these different people from all these different locations who have all come forward and have all sworn under oath and affidavits that Nick or Kata won't read to you. That they're the ones that are lying. That's how that works. It's just just read the court documents. They're all publicly available. This case has gotten so much attention because the one thing that Nick's right about in this is that, yeah, there are a lot of people that are passionate about this case from this perspective or that perspective and whatever. There are a lot of people who are really into this shit, whether they agree with Vic or don't agree with Nick. That part is true. But if you bother to actually read through the documents, you bother to look through the stuff, you see that, yeah, Vic isn't really a good dude. He's not an honest dude. And they've just made this caricature of what Vic of who Vic is as opposed to what he's really like. That's what's going on, and they're doing this to fight McCulture wars. Like, it's dead obvious that he wants to fight SJWs. Like, Nick missed out on the big anti-SJW boon, so he tried to make his way into blood sports, and then he dipped his way into this stuff, where he could take the anti-SJW narratives and just retool it and focus it on this unknown, like, onto this community that's basically more or less just posting anime girls for the fun of it if they ever got involved with any kind of culture wars whatsoever. It was never really kind of a battleground, mostly because I guess there's a number of reasons for that, but it's irrelevant. The thing is, like, again, Nick's just in it for the money, and I don't really see how anyone cannot see at this point, especially since he's pushing for money for the appeal. And keep in mind, this appeal cannot even be filed at this time. It cannot be filed until after the defendants file their motions for sanctions, because that's what the judge asked for. He asked them to like file their paperwork for what Vic will owe them. Because, by the way, that's another thing Nick won't ever tell you. Vic Mignogna owes the defendants money right now. Like, he won't. Let me rephrase that. He won't tell you this unless he absolutely has to, which is after he lost the case. Like, or should I say, after it's put before his attention and brought up time and again that, hey, Nick, maybe you should tell your people that you're telling them to donate to this GoFundMe that there are potential consequences to the very man they're trying to defend. The very man they're trying to go ahead and get money from these people that allegedly defamed him, he may end up paying money to them instead if the judge determines the lawsuit frivolous, which is what he did. And so now he owes. He owes Jamie Marchi, Monica Rial, Ron Toye, and Funimation. All of them. He owes them lots and lots of money, and we don't know how much yet. And they have to file those motions, and then there's got to be a hearing on it. But these chuckleheads, they want to go in with both feet. No, guys, we're doing the appeals 100%. We're not even going to look at the bill for these sanctions. We're just going to go in like they don't have to do this. They're going in half-cocked. That makes no sense. Nick could easily just take a break and just cover some other shit other than this dumb stuff. And, let's just say Vic has made his mind up that he wants to appeal. Don't go ahead and publicly announce this shit until you have to. It's not smart to do it this way because maybe the cost will be too much for Vic to bear, and he doesn't want to take that risk. And you're just going to go ahead and tell people to pay for to feed into something that's just not going to happen. So again, this is just greed, plain and simple. And it may be and you might be saying, well, Nick doesn't get a dime from this. Nick's money comes from the content he milks and squeezes out of all the drama that happens with this. The longer you can keep the GoFundMe going, the more drama he can fuel, the more he can personally profit from it because he's able to make his show entertaining. Without this Vic stuff, his show is boring. I mean, snooze fest. I mean, like, honestly, you could have a competition. Which is the better sleep aid? Watching Nick Rekieta stream or listening to Akujin on the Kumite? That's literally the contest you could have. And he knows this. He knows he's dead in the water without Vic. That's the only thing that people watch him for is because of the Vic Mignogna stuff. Everything else is just boring. I watched part of his show with the, what was it? On Friday night. It was with that chick. The lawyer in Florida who does the, I don't even remember. I honestly don't remember what she does. It said something to do with like red flag laws or some shit like that, but honestly, the way that Nick was presenting the interview, he didn't conduct it very well. He was just like asking very basic softball questions. He wasn't really pressing her for any kind of real information or anything like that. It was just the most boring thing you could hear. And she was talking about her troubles being a small-time lawyer dealing with these cases, which maybe she's doing good, maybe she's not. I don't know. Nick did such a horrible job explaining it. I can't even tell you. I'd have to do more research on it independently of whatever Nick had to present. That's how bad his show is. So, with that in mind, what else could he possibly say to convince us to like donate to this GoFundMe?
It just happened that in February, these allegations manifested into something where the defendants and a few other accusers were manifestly unable to be in the presence of a person they had spent the past decade being in the presence of following the alleged events. When pressed by the community for any sort of evidence to back up these allegations, they have not been able to provide much of anything, and this has caused much.
Except like all the testimony that's come forward, the photos, some video footage, Vic's own words, Vic's apologies, where, by the way, Vic admitted in a videotape that was filmed apologizing for many of the accusations of like grabbing guests without the permission and kissing them without permission, particularly when it comes to young girls. Like, honestly, right there, dead, done. It should be an open and shut case as far as the court of public opinion goes. When you confess to what's being alleged, that should be taken as truth. And if it's not, if he lied for some reason, why is he lying? Like, has Nick ever explained why Vic lied about that? Because according to him, that's not true. Oh, there's no evidence, guys. But Vic just said it was true. No, ignore that. I mean, there's photos. Ignore the photos. Ignore the pictures. It's really like this guy's it's almost like Nick's a con artist or something, and he has to lie to make money.
Much concern amongst the fans, amongst people who are looking in on this from the outside, who are not otherwise anime fans, but are interested in how cancel culture and the Me Too movement works. Whatever your opinion on it, I encourage you to go read the court documents from both parties. They're publicly available.
Yes, please do read the court documents. This is the best. Honestly, this is refreshing from Nick because he's actually giving advice that's counter. Even despite this truthful advice going to hurt and kill him, it's honestly the best advice you could give people. Do read the court documents. Fully agree with that. Like, if you read them, you'll know that Nick is bullshitting here. Ty is an incompetent lawyer. Ty thinks that you can sue someone because they called you a pile of shit or because you blasphemed God or something like that. That's what planet that Ty lives from, and you can all read it in a certain Google Drive that, I'll just link it right in the chat here. Let's get that. Actually, I'll put in this video description of the video drive of where you can find all this stuff. Or the Google Drive, rather. Anyway.
Available in several places. One place you can go and purchase them for yourself to make sure you're getting a completely unadulterated look at them is Research Texas Cases. If you throw that into Google, that is a Texas government website which will allow you to look up Victor Mignogna versus Funimation Productions, LLC. If you go ahead and do that, you can download any document that's been filed in this case, and you can objectively look at the facts and make up your mind for yourself. I highly, highly encourage people to look for those facts. And I do mean to say look for those facts. Because they are lacking, is what I'll humbly suggest. There is a dearth of facts coming from some of the parties about where these details took place, who may have seen the events in question. Is there video? Are there photos? Is there anything to support their allegations? You have to be the one to decide that on your own. For now, Judge Chupp,
Okay, so here's what Nick is banking on. Nick is banking on people having this really ridiculous view of interpreting evidence where people's eyewitness accounts and their testimony that collaborates with other people's testimony and other people's accounts of events, what happened, don't constitute evidence, even though courts of law don't work that way at all. Eyewitness testimony is a valid form of evidence so long as you can lay the foundations for it and collaborate with other people's evidence, etc. It's done all the time to convict people. Because, most people aren't liars by default. And honestly, and again, you can even read Vic's own statements on the matter. It's very, very simple. Further, he knows that most people won't do this. He knows that most people watching this will just tune into his videos because it's easier for most people, especially people using YouTube, to watch a video and learn something than it is to actually go through the time-taking effort of reading a document, especially a court document, where there's a lot of things that most people don't necessarily understand. They'll have to go through it, sift through it, and find the best and find out what it is he's talking about. That's what he's banking on. It's really, I don't think it'll work out this time, to be honest, because I don't think most people have the faith, fervor, and confidence that they did in this guy beforehand. I think this guy's a disgrace. I think people are just losing their appeal to him. I think they're waking up, smelling the coffee, and realizing, hey, most of what Nick says is actually wrong. It does not play out the way he says it will in court. Like, that's what's happening. That's what happened with this case. I believe that Mark Meyer versus Wade, I believe it happened with that, but I'm not 100% positive. So don't necessarily quote me on that. But at last I checked, it wasn't going so well for him. On top of that, he was wrong about the Covington kids. He's been, I think he's gotten on board. I don't know, but he was talking about the Devin Nunes case against Twitter as though it was a realistic lawsuit when it's not. I'll have to double check that just to be, don't quote me on that. I'll have to double check it to be sure, just for the sake of fairness. But the guy does not understand law. He said that he's endorsed an incompetent buffoon of an attorney to take this case. And there's just so much wrong with him.
The judge presiding over the case has dismissed all of the causes of action against Mr. Mignogna. And that has left many people observing this with a lingering question. What's next? What's next? The defendants in this case, outside of Funimation, have largely made some sort of victory lap, professing their gratitude.
Now remember, guys, if you win a court case, don't celebrate. Life advice from Nick Rekieta. It could be overturned in the future. In the meantime, that's not a win. You lost, guys, okay? Like, losing the case is just part of a 4D chess move, all right? They have to die one. They're like a horror movie villain. They have to die once in order to come back and strike again. So you better watch out.
Gratitude for the people who have stood with them through this, asking for the anime community to heal, and a bunch of other statements indicating that they believe that this lawsuit is over. Mr. Mignogna, as has been the case throughout pretty much the entire lawsuit, has remained silent on the issue. So everyone's wondering, what's next? Is the lawsuit over? Do these people get to walk away from this? What happens to them? Are their careers okay? Is Mr. Mignogna's career okay? We don't actually know the answer.
Now, note the emphasis. It's not the emphasis of, does Vic Mignogna get to restitute his damages or anything like that. It's, do these people get to keep their careers? Because remember, Nick's end goal is to grind them to dust. He said this multiple times. The reason I'm doing this, I don't like any of these people. I want to grind their bones into dust, or worse to that effect. That's why he brought up their job careers, because he's threatening them. He's trying to get them, he's trying to ruin them in any which way he can. It's why he keeps on going on irrelevant tangents about how Funimation has all this black PR that turns out to be nothing burgers. And he's doing everything in his power to hurt these people as a form of revenge on behalf of his friend, a friend or acquaintance, whichever way. Actually, you know what? I'm safe. It's safe to call Vic Mignogna Nick's personal friend at this point, because they went to Hawaii snorkeling together. That says it all. They're friends. I mean, if there's not something else going on there with that relationship, like snorkeling, for instance, could be a euphemism. I don't know. I don't go to Hawaii with other men to snorkel in the weeds or whatever. I'll leave that up for you to decide.
Answer to most of these questions, but I am bringing you a very specific answer for today. Mr. Mignogna, I'm told, is going to appeal every single dismissed cause of action. So appeals are coming. They should be coming very soon. At the time of the recording of this video, I believe there is something like 10 or 11 days left to file that appeal. So we should see a document soon, and you can follow the filing of that document and any responses on this channel. I do a nightly live stream, and many of those live streams, when there is something to cover involving the Mignogna case,
or even when there isn't,
many of those live streams are dedicated to that. So do check this channel for updates, but I'm sure you will see plenty of buzz about it on Twitter and in other sources.
Well, probably not as much buzz before because your account's still suspended. Yeah.
With that said, I look forward to appeals. I have personal confidence that at least some of the causes of action do stand a good chance to be overturned on appeal by the appeals court. I personally believe that
they won't be. That's just wish casting. None of these are going to be appealed. I can guarantee it. You can bet money that none of these will be overturned. Period.
The judge's final order in the case was lacking in several aspects, and
No, it wasn't.
that it left a broad range of appealable points for
That's bullshit.
the plaintiff to work with. The plaintiff, of course, being Vic Mignogna. So we will see what his team puts together, what they file, when they file. But I wanted to let you know that I have learned that they will be filing an appeal on every single issue. With that said, I bid you farewell. Please like, share this video if you do.
And that's enough of that. Okay, so someone in the chat asked, which things is he appealing? All of them. Like, every single one is what Nick said. So all 17 claims they're going to try to appeal. It's not going to work for several reasons. The main one being that when Nick talks about this shit, he has to lie about what the judge said. He has to claim that the judge acknowledged damages. The judge did not acknowledge damages. That's not what happened. And he has to say some other nonsense about how, oh, well, the TCPA trial is supposed to go this way. Look, Nick has no experience of Texas law. He has no experience with TCPAs. He's not an appellate lawyer for that matter. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's talking completely out of his ass. If you're going to go ahead and talk to Nick about any of this stuff, ask him where his sources are. Ask him to show his work. And be vigilant about it when you ask him about these questions, if you get a chance to. Because a lot of people who are like, who Nick talks to, they just believe him because he's got a degree. And because he has a degree, it doesn't matter where it is or his credentials are or his case history is. They just believe him. Like, offhandedly. It's absurd and ridiculous. Okay, so what else can we talk about? Let's see. Let me see if there's some other stuff I can pull up. Let me just check some stuff real quick. Alright, so there's some more stuff I want to show from Nick's Discord server. Because if you thought that was the end of it, nah, not by a long shot. Let's see what I can look up first. Okay. Alright, so let me just switch to that browser real quick. There we go. By the way, people are saying it's fake or whatever. Let me just refresh this. Yeah, no, it's real. Like, I'm not, like, bullshitting with this. This is all legit. Just because I'm using, a browser doesn't mean it's fake. That's retarded. If you believe that, you're smoking something. But look, I just got to show the aftermath of that last stream. By the way, I do have to mention something about last stream. Another mistake I made was I presumed that I was banned from the Casting Couch channel. The reality is, one of the admins, and this admin confirmed it to me because he's an idiot, that he temporarily locked down the Casting Couch channel because they still don't know who I am or which account it is that is on the server. And yeah, these guys, but they're anything but mad. They're really, really happy about this whole thing. So I believe the stream was on, let's see. Yeah, it was on the 8th. You can see they got some ethnic slurs here. Things that I certainly would never say, of course not. And then they got, was this the 8th? Okay, they got some other stuff. This brave soul has decided that his name is going to change to Blaine20 _ fuck you JMK. Very, very, very professional there. Not mad at all. This guy has docs in his name to show that they're totally not doxers. They just like to dox people in Nick's Discord. That doesn't make them doxers. Come on, guys. What do you want? What else is there? They're complaining about Lemoyne deposing Nick. I don't know if that's going to happen. I honestly don't. Nick might be safe from that due to like Texas not wanting to extradite somebody from whatchamacallit, from Minnesota. Also, there's also some Minnesota shield laws, etc. So there's that. Let's see. There's also some other stuff I wanted to show that's pretty funny. They're complaining about like my spy that's in there. What else is there? He said this. They're trying to figure out who the spy is. What if Dick is JMK's spy? Perish the thought. He's green and he never talks. He said in his YouTube video that he has been caught and or removed. Well, unless some other mod kicked him, that's a lie. That a lie. Or, you know, you lock down the channel. There's also that. This guy says, if I was a mod, ... etc. And what's Nick's reaction? Nick, who's totally not mad. He's not a mad garden tool or anything like that, is he? Let's see. Weird. Apparently now we're making up gay ops. You're not making up gay ops. You're involved in gay ops, Nick. I don't know how hard it is for you to understand this, but when you do things behind the scenes to fuck with to go out of your way to fuck with people in a damaging sort of way, that's pretty much what everyone considers gay ops. Like, you're engaging in that sort of shit. What do you expect? Like, you've called out this behavior yourself that you actively engage in. The only gay op I ever heard of was JMK's transition from boy to a little bitch. He's totally not mad, guys. He's totally not mad about the chat logs being leaked and proving that he's part of Vic's legal counsel by making some serious research into his case, saying that maybe we should call off the case and then refile it after the TCPA bill passes. Like, that totally what didn't that. Which, yeah, I mean, like, if you want more confirmation than that, I don't think you need more confirmation than that, to be perfectly honest. It just shows that him and Ty are in cahoots, planning together what it is Vic will do next and what will happen in the future. And they're keeping that PR in mind in order to make sure that they get as many GoFundMe people as possible on board. And he's going ahead to his patrons in order to get this information. Who knows? Some stupid new claim by JMK. Oh, man. Nick, maybe you should say this in an area where I can't see it. Because right now, I don't know if this is another one of your kind of double takes, but it makes you look kind of retarded. Nick, try to do better. Learn OPSEC. Don't say stuff that makes you look bad in a place that you know your enemies are looking. I'm just saying. I've got breaking news that can't... Oh, and look at this guy. Says, I love this one. First Snodge says, I wonder if he's talking about the spy hunt, ? And then Boxo Lupercal, who has this edgy avatar. I guess, maybe it's not so edgy. It just looks like Halloween themed, but whatever. But this is definitely edgy. I think we should just kill him. Yes, imagine getting so mad you want to kill somebody. You're threatening someone's life over reading your stupid gay Discord chats. Oh, man. Why would I ever report this server? There's just too much lols to have from it. Nick says, I've got breaking news that can't leave this Discord window. JMK is a vagina. I've confirmed it with 5 sources. That must have been the gay ops he was talking about. And then, damn, these guys are mad. JMK, and then he references some either dead emperors or venereal diseases. I get those two confused most of the time because they sound so damn similar. But regardless, yeah, these guys are totally not mad. These are very cool, peaceful individuals. This isn't something that you'd say once you've gotten blown the fuck out and, you know, exposed for being frauds. Damn. All right. So what else can I show tonight? But I wanted to show some new old stuff too, not just some new stuff. What do I mean by that? Well, I found a couple of statements by Nick that seemed very, very interesting. Let me see if I can bring them up. I got screenshots of these as well. I'll be dropping those later. I'm pretty sure Law Twitter will like to see those as well. Let me just bring up the relevant text. Let's see what Nicky Boy says. From the chat, Fireflower says, these Discord chats need to get leaked into the appeals courts. I would love Nick's Discord server to be released for the courts, and as a matter of public record of appellate law, for generations to study forever. If we can make that happen, if we can make, I will testify to make that happen. That will be fucking fantastic. That would be great. Just imagine that. You get so wrapped up in this dumb lawsuit over this guy who sounds like a pedophile that you end up having your Discord leaked as a matter of public record. How embarrassing would that be? All right, so let me just find the relevant portion. Okay, so we're gonna go to hang on a second. Let me just be sure. Actually, let me just scroll up in this chat. Let's go up a bit here. Now let's go back to February. Not after the case was launched, but let's see. It was a little bit. It's around that time. It was, when was it? Okay, so this would be like a little bit before his second stream on the Vic topic, and it would be before the GoFundMe was actually launched. Now, why would that be important? Why would that matter? Because there's a reason for it. Just gotta make sure that I find the right stuff. Wow, we got some stuff about Andy here. Huh. Let's see. Well, that might be funny later. Okay. I just want to be sure that I got everything here because there's a bunch of things there's a bunch of dumb shit he said this particular day. All right, let's just start with this one here, and maybe I'll have to bounce around just a little bit. I'll be sure to note the time and the date. I'm pretty sure. Let me just make sure I got the date right in this message so I'm not fucking anything up. Okay. Okay. So this would be on the 15th of February, 2019. Okay. So, Nick says here, 11:42 a.m. May have Vic Mignogna on the show tonight. Stay tuned. Huh. Now, why would that be relevant? What's important or special about Nick speculating he might have Vic Mignogna on his show on the 15th? Scroll down a little bit. Talking about having Gator and other nobody E-celebs on. This guy explaining who Vic Mignogna is. Honk Man saying some dumb stuff, which is not uncommon. A lot of people just mostly confused because, well, they don't know who this guy is. Nick here bragging about the guest he's having on. It's not really important. Just go down a little bit here. Okay, here it is. Here we go, the money shot. I talked to Vic for 1.5 hours today on the phone. I feel really bad for this guy. Now, remember, this is on February 15th. This is before the lawsuit. This is before the GoFundMe. And here's Nick confirming that he was having a really long conversation, planning out those snorkeling adventures out in Hawaii, doing God knows what else. But that's really weird. It's really weird to me, because in Vic's deposition, Vic said he only had brief communication with Nick. I don't know about you. Does 1.5 hours over a phone call seem like brief communication? Like, normally when I have a phone call conversation, it lasts maybe 5 minutes. If it's a particularly long one, maybe it'll last 15 minutes. But 1.5 hours, I don't know. We could quibble over the semantics over it. I'm pretty sure this doesn't put Vic in hot water for perjury or anything like that. But it just seems to me that Vic is underplaying the amount of communication he's been having with Nick Rekieta. And it'd be very interesting to know more of that. That's what I think about that. Because remember, Nick's trying to pretend that he doesn't have this line to Vic Mignogna, that he's been getting all this information through proxies, that there's a wall between Nick and Vic, because there wouldn't be like a conflict of interest there or anything like that. No siree. All right. He goes on to say, "You're more convinced now that he got a raw deal from this guy?" Nick Rekieta responds, "Yep. Trying to figure out motive for all of it. Not his lawyer guys though. He's just trying to figure out the motive for the people who allegedly defamed him, doing some serious research in the matter. But he's not guys, he's not representing Nick in any capacity, okay? He wants you to make that clear. But yes." And then there's some more speculation by his fans. Nick goes on to say, "This dude is hurting bad. These colleagues of his are the worst. He's worked with Rial or whatever for 20 years. Now, this is the credibility of like Nick's level of journalism. He speaks to one person, gets the whole story from one person, instantly believes everything he says. So remember, when Nick's doing his objective journalistic reporting, he talks to one guy 1.5 hours, and then he talks about how emotional, how really bad Vic Mignogna is doing over the phone. Really, really curious, really strange individual, this Nick Rekieta guy. Caesar in the chat says he's not Vic's lawyer, he's Vic's liar. Not a bad take, in my opinion. Not a bad take. All right, so there's a couple other things that are kind of weird. Just a little bit of my almonds being activated, reading some of this stuff. Few things that I uncovered here that were really weird. Let me just type in the right phrase here. Let's go search this one thing. What was it? Let me just get the right phrasing here. Let's see. Let's see if I can get it up here. Let's do the keyword weaponize. I think a lot of Kick Vic people will like this one because it confirms some of their theories. Let me just show it on screen. "Guys, I'm working on some stuff that I can't disclose, but if I'm successful, it will weaponize my channel in the culture war to a level far beyond right now, while providing massive amounts of content." Hey, wait, what day was this? What day was this? I'm confused here. Let's search for that real quick so we can find out exactly when that was posted. It says here that this was on the same day they spoke to Vic Mignogna. Yeah, just a little bit of almonds activating there. Just like, I don't want to jump to conclusions or anything, but it's almost like, it's almost like he set out to do this whole let me help out Vic Mignogna thing as kind of a push for his anti-SJW career. Kind of like some of the stuff I've been saying and others have been saying. Yeah, I'm having too much to think. My head's getting sleepy. This is really complicated, arcane stuff. We'll be drinking whiskey, laughing at chumps, and it will matter. I love that last part, and it will matter. Nothing you do, Nick, matters. Nothing you ever do will matter. Like, that's just the reality. Like, I don't know why you think that this will excel you to some kind of high position in life, but the reality is, you're just a nobody on the internet. Like, you call me a nobody, that's accurate, but but it's also true of you. You're not really important. People don't go down the street thinking, gee, Nick Ricade is this great guy who's fighting the good fight. At most, they think that you're some entertaining douchebag on the internet that they may or may not laugh at or with. That's it. That's all you've ever done. And oh wait, no, that's not true. There is one notable thing you've done. You swindled people out of $252,000 and gave it to your best friend and buddy, Ty Beard. Actually, that reminds me of another thing. Yeah, like Nick was recommending Ty Beard as before the Vic Mignogna case to his patrons. I mean, it just makes you think. It just makes you think and go, huh? It's kind of weird. Just a little few details here and there. I know there's some other stuff he said. Let me find that other one. Same day, too. It's amazing. It's amazing how he just blabs all at once on the same day. Let me see here. Okay, so this is also on the 15th. Let me just show that. All right. So this is after he said that about like weaponizing his channel to become a culture war front. At 8:49 that same day, he says, "Let's just say I've been personally contacted about 4 lawsuits in this corner of the YouTube this week alone by people looking for representation. I've also been approached by a law firm to add me, of course." I've also been approached by a law firm to add me as of counsel representation. I'm just speculating here, but could that be Ty Beard's law firm? Harris, HBHB, whatever the fucking lawyers' names are. Is it possible that Nick let slip here a little Freudian slip that he's part of Ty Beard's counsel? I don't know. Maybe that violates some ethics laws. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe Nick fibbed about something here and there. But it's really weird that on the same day that he's talking about weaponizing his channel to be a front for the culture war, that he has an 1.5 hour long conversation with Vic Mignogna, the same guy who would later see in a deposition you only had brief conversations with this guy. It's really weird that he also was bragging about having been approached by a law firm to add of counts to be added as of counsel representation. It's also weird when you consider that Ty Beard hired Lisa Hansel, longtime friend of Vic Mignogna, to be a part to, for whatever reason, to work on the case. We don't know why this is. All we know is that Ty Beard said this in a deposition. I'm presuming Ty Beard wasn't lying to get out of an embarrassing situation. But I don't know, guys. It's really weird when you think about all this. And it really paints a picture that these guys really aren't all that honest. They're very shifty. They don't really explain themselves very well. And we're not going to see any receipts on any of this. Like, I can believe that Nick will forward an explanation for this, but I don't think he's ever going to show what he's not going to go ahead and say, yeah, here's the proof that confirms that it's not what it looks like, guys. He's not going to do that. Guarantee it. Because Nick's not an honest guy. Vic isn't an honest guy, and Ty Beard isn't an honest guy. All right, so that's again. This is all these messages were all on the 15th, same day. Same day he says he's been approached by a law firm to add out of counsel representation. He claims that he might have Vic Mignogna on his show. He's had an 1.5 hour long conversation with Vic Mignogna. He's going to weaponize his channel to be like a culture war type thing, and all this other shit. And you know, it's all good, guys. It's all on the up and up. I mean, it's not like it's just kind of weird, guys. really fucking is. Okay, so those are some things I wanted to point out. There's also some other stuff. Oh, actually, there's some other stuff I can show. Let me see. Let me just find something else here. Let's see. Got more free speech advocates. Oh, you know what? I know a couple things. Okay. So, what was it that the gay ops that I accused Nick of specifically? Because I hinted this at Twitter, so I should show this. I should get this on screen. I'll have a screenshot of this as well because this is particularly funny. Now, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you guys a story about a guy named Crown T. Not the whole story, of course. Everyone's heard that story a million times to death. But there was one particularly interesting little meme that came from there. Did you ever hear of a woman named Tilly Law? Anyone? Well, no one's ever heard of Tilly Law because Tilly Law was a fake account that Kraut proposed making where he would LARP as a woman that was interested in the alt-right and being a super nerdy scientist or some dumb shit like that to spread disinformation to the alt-right and hoodwink them into doing dumb shit. How can Nick top that? How could Nick top that? I mean, to Kraut's credit, he only planned to do this. Now, what if I was to tell you that Nick was actively doing something very similar and even more cringy and hypocritical? Let me just get that thing up real quick. Aha, here we go. It's a good thing I'm good with this. Let me see if I can get this downloaded here. Okay. Copy that. Okay. Let's switch over to here. All right, so Nick's Twitter is currently permanently suspended. There's like a 95% chance that he'll remain that way for good. Maybe he'll be back. Who cares? There's always more fun stuff we can uncover this way. Mark that as red. By the way, that should confirm to you guys that I'm not bullshitting with that the fact there's more messages coming up here. Yeah, anyone can go ahead now and just confirm that. Yeah, we typed this message at this time and it was confirmed. So, we got Nick laughing about something. Someone's asking about kiwi farms. Don't really know what's that's about. Okay. And then he goes on to talk about, my intern is female, by the way. She/her added to bio. Hope these people enjoy my intern's vociferous defense of her gender identity. The game begins. The game begin. And then someone asks, what are those? People who misgendered my intern. Well, what's Nick talking about? What's Nick doing with that? Could he wouldn't be, doing something cringy and retarded like creating a fake account and then reporting the people who go ahead and quote unquote misgender quote unquote her. Nah, that wouldn't be. Nick wouldn't do that. In fact, let me show that on screen. Let me show the image itself on screen in context so that we all get it. Let me just go to my settings real quick. And then we'll go to this. And we'll show the images real quick. And then turn them off again. Okay. Okay. All right. Just got to get the right one here. And all right, phrasing. All right, so here you go. And I will show that right now. Yeah, this is Nick Rekieta using Twitter to false flag accounts and get them suspended. Mr. I stand for free speech. I'm a free speech advocate. Look at what he does. Look at this shit. Like, it's bullshit. That's what that is. That is just some Tilly Law gay ops bullshit. So Nick likes to LARP as a woman on Twitter with a fake account with a fake identity, just like Kraut had planned to do. Didn't go through with it, but Nick was like, hold my beer, Kraut. And he went in there and he did this shit. Because he's fucking retarded. Oh, man. That's pretty fucking hilarious if you ask me. And I got a feeling that the Mickey Mouse Club is mad. They're mad to see that Nick's hypocrisy is on full display. I wonder if they'll come up with a defense that Tilly Law is a real person. In fact, what'll be even funnier is if Nick went out of his way to hire an intern to sit at his desk at that unused office that he owns, presumably, and has her sit there and make it counts. And then just has her at a computer saying, oh, I was upset. I don't see a good saving throw for this, Nick. I don't. I really don't. I don't see how you can get away with this kind of crap. I don't. I mean, you guys in your Discord server already did it. You've already had people threaten to report my account. You had people threaten to report this channel. It all failed. But at the end of the day, you're doing it too. It just blows my mind. All right. I think we should go out on that. I hope you all found this stream entertaining. I'm going to release some images to go along with this, some screenshots I took of this, so that way we can spread them around all over the place and make them go viral. I hope y'all have a good night, and peace.